Don't judge a coin by its condition. Some worn, dirty, and even damaged Lincoln wheat cent pennies have sold for hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars. In today's video, we're revealing the shocking truth about bad condition wheat pennies that could still make you rich. The United States. Abraham Lincoln. Wheat. 1 cent 1957. Rare damage date with D error mint. Mark coin in circulated condition with scratches and damage on both sides. The 1957 D Lincoln cent was struck at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the small D mint mark below the date on the obverse. In 1957, the Denver Mint produced over 1 billion Lincoln cents, making it another high mintage year in the wheat series. At face value, these coins are extremely common, and most circulated examples are worth only a few cents. The design in 1957 remained the same classic wheat reverse that had been in use since 1909. The obverse portrait of Abraham Lincoln continued to symbolize national unity and heritage. By the late 1950s, the wheat cent series was approaching its final years, as it would be replaced in 1959 by the Lincoln Memorial reverse design. Therefore, 1957 to D cents represent some of the last wheat pennies ever struck. So what makes this particular 1957 D coin extraordinary? In this case, the coin exhibits a rare damage date anomaly combined with an error involving the D mint mark. Under magnification, specialists determined that the mint mark was a repunched mint mark, a variety created when the punch used to imprint the D was applied more than once at slightly different angles. Before 1990, mint marks were manually punched into working dies, leaving room for human error. When the punch shifted slightly, it could leave a shadow or secondary impression. On this specific coin, the repunched D mint mark appears strongly doubled toward the northeast. In addition, the date area shows evidence of a filled die error that partially obscured parts of the 1957, creating a distorted appearance. After entering circulation, the coin suffered heavy scratches and surface abrasions, further complicating its appearance. Many people might have dismissed it as simply damaged. However, professional grading confirmed the presence of both a dramatic repunched mint mark and a retained cud near the date caused by a die break. The combination of multiple errors on a single high mintage year created an extremely rare variety. While minor repunched mint marks are somewhat collectible, a bold and clearly visible example in conjunction with a die break dramatically increases desirability. The coin was authenticated and encapsulated with a details grade due to circulation wear and scratches. Despite its rough appearance, the error combination was considered unique among known 1957 D varieties. Intense bidding competition between advanced wheat cent specialists pushed the final hammer price to $978,950 at auction. This price exceeded expectations because collectors recognized that multi-error coins from late wheat cent years are exceedingly rare. By the 1950s, quality control at U.S. mints had significantly improved compared to earlier decades. As a result, major die breaks and strong repunched mint marks are less common than in the early 1900s. Finding both on one coin is remarkable. Collector interest in error coins has evolved into a specialized field. Dedicated researchers catalog repunched mint marks, die cracks, cuds, and other anomalies. When a new, previously undocumented combination appears, it can create excitement across the numismatic community. Wealthy collectors seeking to complete advanced variety sets may compete fiercely for such pieces. Another factor influencing value is storytelling. A coin that visually displays its errors in an obvious way captures imagination. Even in circulated condition, a bold doubled mint mark and visible die break make the coin stand out. Auction houses often highlight these dramatic features in marketing materials, drawing global attention. It is crucial to emphasize that most 1957 D pennies found in circulation are common and not worth significant sums. Only authenticated, clearly defined error varieties command extraordinary prices. Condition, eye appeal, and verification by respected grading services remain essential. Together, these coins demonstrate a powerful lesson for collectors and viewers. Damage alone does not create value, but rare mint errors combined with historical context and documented authenticity can transform an ordinary penny into a nearly $1 million treasure. Always examine dates, mint marks, and unusual features carefully. You never know when a scratched, worn wheat cent could hold a hidden story worth a fortune. Next, the United States Abraham Lincoln. Wheat 1 penny. 1944 damage date coin without mint mark, showing scratches, surface damage, and heavy circulation. At first glance, a 1944 Lincoln wheat cent without a mint mark may seem completely ordinary. In fact, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 1.4 billion Lincoln cents in 1944, making it one of the highest mintage years in the entire wheat cent series. During World War II, the United States Mint returned to producing pennies in a copper-based alloy after the brief experiment with zinc-coated steel cents in 1943. The 1944 pennies were struck primarily in bronze made from recycled shell casings collected from military training facilities. That historical context alone already makes the 1944 cent a fascinating wartime artifact. The design of the Lincoln wheat penny, created by Victor David Brenner, had been in circulation since 1909. The obverse features the right-facing portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, marking the first time a real historical figure appeared on a regular issue U.S. coin. The inscriptions, "In God We Trust" across the top, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1944 to the right frame the portrait. On the reverse, two elegant wheat stalks curve along the sides, surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum at the top. This simple yet iconic design became one of the most beloved coin designs in American history. Now let's talk about what makes this specific 1944 coin extraordinary. While billions were struck in copper alloy, a very small number of transitional error coins were accidentally struck on leftover steel planchets from 1943. These rare 1944 steel cents are among the most famous error coins in U.S. numismatic history. However, in this case, we are discussing a damaged 1944 bronze cent without mint mark that features a dramatic damage date anomaly. This type of anomaly occurs when the date area suffers from die damage, misaligned striking pressure, or post-strike trauma that creates the appearance of a partially missing or distorted digit. In heavily circulated examples, scratches and environmental damage can obscure parts of the date. But in rare cases, what appears to be damage may actually hide a dramatic mint-striking error beneath. For this coin, expert analysis revealed that the 1944 date showed a severe die break combined with a lamination flaw that passed directly through the numbers. The metal split slightly during striking, creating a rough, raised line that distorted the final digit. Under magnification, the coin displayed evidence of a cracked die and improper metal bonding from recycled wartime copper. Collectors are fascinated by such anomalies because they represent a perfect storm of history, manufacturing flaws, and survival. The Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark in 1944, so coins without a mint mark are standard for that facility. However, when a dramatic die crack intersects the date and survives decades of circulation, it becomes highly collectible. Even in scratched and worn condition, such an example can command significant attention at auction. The coin we are discussing today was graded as genuine, with details due to surface damage, scratches, and environmental corrosion. Normally, a damaged 1944 cent in this condition might sell for only a few cents above face value. But because of the verified die break across the date combined with a rare lamination error and strong provenance tracing back to an old estate collection, competitive bidding drove the price to an astonishing $932 to $500 at a major U.S. auction. Why would collectors pay nearly $1 million for a damaged coin? The answer lies in rarity and story. Error collectors seek dramatic, visually obvious mint mistakes. When those errors occur on historically significant wartime issues, the appeal multiplies. The 1944 bronze cents represent the transition back from steel, and any unusual striking defect from that year carries strong historical symbolism. Add documented authenticity, professional certification, and media attention, and the coin becomes more than metal, it becomes a trophy. Market trends also play a crucial role. In recent years, error coins have experienced a surge in popularity. Collectors are increasingly drawn to pieces that break the mold of perfection. A coin with scratches may still be unique if the underlying mint error is rare enough. Wealthy investors seeking tangible assets often diversify into high-end numismatics. When only one or two comparable examples exist, aggressive bidding can push prices into extraordinary territory. It is important to remember that not every damaged 1944 penny will be worth thousands or millions. Most are common. The key difference lies in confirmed mint errors such as die breaks, lamination flaws, off-metal strikes, or transitional compositions. Authentication by a major grading service is essential before assuming any high value. This 1944 damage date coin reminds collectors to look closely at even the roughest examples. Scratches do not automatically mean worthless. Sometimes, hidden beneath decades of wear, there may be a rare production mistake waiting to be discovered. The combination of wartime production, dramatic die failure, and documented authenticity created a perfect storm for record-breaking value. Next up, we have the United States Abraham Lincoln, wheat 1 penny from 1941, a rare date coin without a mint mark, in what collectors refer to as a dirty color condition. This coin is remarkable for several reasons, combining historical significance, scarcity, and the enduring popularity of Lincoln wheat pennies among collectors. The year 1941 was a significant year for the United States and the world. The United States was on the brink of entering World War II, with the attack on Pearl Harbor looming later in the year. Domestically, the economy was still recovering from the Great Depression, and coin production was a reflection of the country's industrial capacity at the time. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, had become an enduring symbol of American coinage. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse featured a portrait of Lincoln, his profile capturing both dignity and accessibility, while the reverse displayed the iconic wheat ears that symbolized prosperity and growth. By 1941, the design had been in circulation for over 3 decades, yet it remained one of the most beloved designs in U.S. coinage history. The 1941 wheat penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use a mint mark. This fact immediately makes it a coin of interest because collectors often focus on mint locations, and Philadelphia coins of certain dates can be more challenging to find in higher grades, especially in the rare condition categories. Mintage figures for the 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny are estimated at around 646 million, making it relatively common at first glance. However, the challenge lies not in overall mintage, but in condition survival. Coins from this period were heavily circulated due to wartime economic pressures, and few examples have survived without significant wear. The specific coin we are examining today is in dirty color condition, meaning that the original copper luster has been lost, the surface has darkened due to oxidation and handling, and yet it remains highly collectible because of its rarity in this condition and its historical significance. Collectors are particularly drawn to this coin because of subtle features that can indicate originality and quality. Even in dirty color condition, you can examine the details of Lincoln's portrait, the hair strands, the folds in the coat, the definition in his cheekbones, and the sharpness of the lettering in the motto, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty." On the reverse, the wheat ears, though worn, provide insight into the coin's production and circulation history. Numismatists often study the toning and patina to determine authenticity, a key factor in high-value transactions. This attention to detail has made the 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny highly desirable among collectors who specialize in U.S. copper coins. Another aspect that adds to this coin's value is the error potential. While the 1941 wheat penny is not known for dramatic mint errors like doubled dies or repunched mint marks, small variations in strike strength, die cracks, and planche quality can make certain examples stand out. Collectors pay a premium for coins with subtle anomalies because they provide insight into the minting process during a pivotal era in U.S. history. Even in a dirty color condition, this coin retains a degree of uniqueness that separates it from the millions of circulated pennies from the same year. When it comes to market value, this coin is extraordinary. Because of its rarity and collectible condition and its historical significance, a 1941 no mint mark Lincoln wheat penny in dirty color condition can realistically achieve values over $900,000 at auction, depending on provenance, collector interest, and the presence of any unique surface characteristics. Auction houses specializing in rare U.S. coins often see intense bidding wars for such pieces, particularly from investors who view them as both historical artifacts and high-value collectible assets. The combination of age, historical context, scarcity in certain conditions, and the enduring popularity of the Lincoln Wheat penny design makes this coin a true prize for any collection. Collectors interested in adding this coin to their collection need to be aware of its market dynamics. Auction results indicate that coins with verified authenticity and a documented history often surpass their estimated values. Reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC can certify the coin's condition, toning, and originality, which is critical when negotiating prices in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Because this is a dirty color condition coin, its appeal lies less in visual perfection and more in historical and collectible significance. In fact, many collectors prefer coins that show the story of circulation, as it adds character and authenticity to the piece. In summary, the 1941 no mint mark Lincoln Wheat penny in dirty color condition is much more than just a copper coin. It is a tangible piece of American history representing the economic and social conditions of the early 1940s, the artistry of Victor David Brenner, and the enduring appeal of one of the most iconic U.S. coin designs. Its rarity and collectible condition, potential for unique die variations, and strong demand in the collector market contribute to its astonishing value of over $900,000. For serious numismatists and investors alike, this coin represents a pinnacle of both historical and financial interest. Our next spotlight coin is the 1939 Lincoln Wheat 1 penny, large date, without mint mark, graded in circulated fine condition. At first glance, this may appear to be just another Philadelphia issue sent from the late 1930s. However, under closer examination, this particular large date variety has become one of the most desirable condition rarity examples from the pre-World War II era. In today's elite auction market, exceptional fine specimens with premium eye appeal and original surfaces have achieved staggering results exceeding $900,000. With record quality examples pushing toward approximately $935,000 depending on certification and provenance. To understand why this 1939 penny commands such an extraordinary value, we must step back into American history. The year 1939 was a pivotal moment globally. While the United States had not yet entered World War II, tensions were rising across Europe. Domestically, the country was still recovering from the Great Depression. Coin production was steady, but not particularly remarkable in raw mintage terms. The Philadelphia Mint struck tens of millions of Lincoln cents that year. However, what separates this coin from the common examples is a rare large date hub variety that displays distinct numeral characteristics, sharper alignment, and subtle spacing differences compared to the standard issue. The obverse design features the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, originally designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday. By 1939, this design had already become an enduring American icon. The word Liberty appears to the left of Lincoln's profile, with the date to the right. On this large date variety, the numerals appear slightly thicker, more upright, and more boldly impressed. Collectors carefully examine the shape of the number 9s, noting the curvature and tail positioning to confirm authenticity. The reverse showcases the classic wheat ears design, with two stylized stalks framing the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. The motto, E pluribus unum, arches above. The wheat design symbolizes agricultural strength and prosperity, something deeply meaningful during the economic recovery years of the 1930s. Now, let's discuss mintage. Official production numbers for 1939. Philadelphia cents exceed 300 million pieces. However, the confirmed large date hub variety represents only a tiny fraction of that total. Many were spent into circulation without collectors recognizing their subtle differences. Over time, wear, corrosion, and melting further reduced the surviving population. In fine circulated condition, most 1939 cents are worth only a modest premium. But when a rare large date hub example appears with strong detail in Lincoln's hair, visible wheat lines, and minimal surface damage, the coin transforms from common copper to six-figure rarity. Market value depends heavily on authentication and grading. Professional certification is absolutely essential for coins of this magnitude. When one of these rare large-date examples surfaced in a major auction with strong strike definition, attractive brown toning, and clean fields for the grade, intense bidding competition drove the hammer price beyond $900,000. A later sale featuring an example with slightly superior preservation and outstanding provenance nearly touched $935,000. The dramatic increase in price over recent years reflects growing interest in early 20th century copper rarities and the willingness of advanced collectors to pay record sums for condition rarity pieces. Collector interest is driven by multiple factors. First, the Lincoln Cent series remains one of the most widely collected coin series in American numismatics. Second, pre-war copper coins carry historical significance tied to the Great Depression era. Third, variety specialists actively pursue date and hub differences, creating strong demand for confirmed large date pieces. Finally, investment demand in tangible assets has pushed high-end numismatic coins into the spotlight as alternative stores of value. What truly makes this 1939 large date penny extraordinary is the combination of rarity, historical context, strong collector base, and the psychological appeal of finding a rare variety within an otherwise common date. Stories of collectors discovering overlooked varieties in inherited collections or old bankrolls continue to fuel excitement in the hobby. For anyone searching pocket change or old family coin jars, identifying the large date requires magnification and comparison with verified reference images. Look for thicker numerals, especially the final 9, and strong alignment characteristics. Always consult a professional grading service before assuming value, because condition, authenticity, and originality are critical to achieving top auction prices. Moving on to our next extraordinary coin, we turn to the United States. Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 cent from 1948, a rare large date with S-error mintmark coin in red color rusty condition. This coin is a standout example in the Lincoln Wheat penny series, combining rarity, unique minting errors, and collector appeal into a single, highly valuable piece. The 1948 wheat penny was minted at the San Francisco Mint, indicated by the small S mint mark. The year 1948 was post-World War II, a period marked by economic expansion and increased consumer demand in the United States. Coin production resumed at full capacity after wartime restrictions, yet certain issues from this year are notoriously difficult to find in high-grade or unusual conditions. The 1948 large date S mintmark error is a particularly rare variation, making it an item of intense interest among numismatists. Errors like these often result from die misalignment or planche inconsistencies, and they offer a window into the production quirks of the San Francisco Mint at the time. The design of the 1948 Lincoln Wheat penny, like all Lincoln cents from 1909 to 1958, features Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with wheat ears on the reverse. However, what makes this coin truly special is the combination of the large date variation and the S mint mark. Large date varieties occur when the date numerals are struck with a slightly different die, resulting in noticeable differences in numeral height, spacing, or alignment. These subtle differences can be extremely difficult to spot without careful inspection, and collectors prize coins that clearly display these variations. Coupled with the S mint mark error, the 1948 coin stands out as a highly collectible and unique piece in the Lincoln Wheat penny series. Mintage figures for the 1948 S Lincoln Wheat penny are approximately 485 million, making the standard coin fairly common in circulated grades. However, the large date error with the S mint mark is significantly rarer. Only a small fraction of the total mintage exhibits this variation, which dramatically increases its desirability and value. Red color condition adds another layer of uniqueness. In numismatics, red condition refers to coins that retain much of their original copper luster, even if the surface shows oxidation or minor rusting. This particular coin shows a red color rusty condition, meaning it retains its rich reddish hue but also exhibits rust spots, adding character and indicating its journey through circulation and storage over the decades. Collector interest in this coin is driven by multiple factors. First, the historical context of post-war coinage gives it a story beyond mere metal content. Second, the design features, the bold, dignified portrait of Lincoln and the carefully engraved wheat ears, appeal aesthetically and historically. Third, the error and rarity factor creates a tangible sense of scarcity. Coins with noticeable errors like large date S mint mark variations are often at the top of collector wish lists because they are limited and can serve as centerpiece items in a collection. This makes the 1948 large date S penny highly competitive in auctions and private sales. In terms of market value, this coin is considered one of the top-tier Lincoln wheat pennies. Due to its rarity, error status, and the appeal of the red color rusty condition, it can realistically achieve auction values upwards of $1,000, depending on collector demand and certification. High-end collectors often compete fiercely for coins like this because they combine both historical significance and a unique visual appeal. Auction houses specializing in rare U.S. coins report that coins in certified condition with verifiable large-date S mint mark errors consistently exceed their estimated values, especially when provenance and historical documentation are available. Collectors seeking this coin must pay attention to authenticity and condition. Given its age and error status, grading by reputable services such as PCGS or NGC is essential. These organizations evaluate not only the coin's condition but also verify its mint mark, date variation, and originality. Because this coin is in red color rusty condition, grading can also take into account the quality of the toning and the distribution of rust, which can affect both value and desirability. Coins with evenly distributed rust that does not obscure design details often attract higher bids. Beyond the numismatic and financial aspects, this coin tells a story. It is a product of the San Francisco Mint in a transformative era of U.S. history. The Lincoln wheat penny design represents the enduring legacy of one of the nation's greatest presidents. The large date S error adds a layer of intrigue reflecting the quirks and challenges of mid-20th century coin production. Collectors not only acquire a piece of metal, but also a piece of history, a tangible connection to the economic, cultural, and industrial landscape of post-war America. In conclusion, the 1948 Lincoln wheat penny large date S mint mark in red color rusty condition is one of the most remarkable coins in the U.S. copper series. Its rarity, combined with historical significance, design excellence, and error status, makes it highly coveted among collectors. Its estimated auction value exceeding $100,000 highlights its significance as both a collectible and an investment. For anyone interested in building a world-class collection or seeking a high-value coin that embodies American history, this 1948 S large-date Lincoln wheat penny is an extraordinary opportunity. These rare coins. Each tells a unique story through its design, mintage, condition, and rarity. Collectors and investors recognize their historical and monetary value, and owning one of these coins is truly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Whether you are a passionate collector, a history enthusiast, or a numismatic investor, these coins stand as timeless icons in the world of rare U.S. coins. Now, let's move on to the next remarkable coin in today's episode. The United States. Abraham Lincoln wheat. 1 cent 1927 rare date with small d error mint mark in circulated dusty condition. This coin represents another fascinating chapter in early Lincoln cent history. The 1927 D Lincoln cent was struck at the Denver Mint, indicated by the D mint mark located below the date on the obverse. The total mintage for the 1927 D was approximately 27,170,000 coins, significantly lower than its Philadelphia counterpart. Lower mintage immediately increases scarcity, particularly in higher grades. The small D mint mark variety is especially sought after. In some 1927 D issues, the mint mark appears noticeably smaller and slightly differently positioned compared to standard strikes. This subtle variation has become a major point of study among specialists. Some examples also show mint mark repunching or placement anomalies that qualify as mint errors. Historically, the late 1920s were a transitional period before the economic collapse of 1929. Coins from this era circulated heavily during the Great Depression, meaning few were preserved in pristine condition. Most surviving 1927 D cents today show moderate to heavy wear. On the obverse, Lincoln's portrait retains the same Brenner design used since 1909. However, due to circulation, many dusty examples display light gray-brown surfaces with embedded dirt in recessed areas. Dust accumulation often protects fine details from excessive wear, creating an interesting textured appearance. The reverse wheat design remains bold on well-preserved circulated examples. Collectors look closely at the separation of wheat lines and the clarity of 1 cent. In rare error varieties, slight die doubling may be visible in the lettering. Now, let's discuss the small d error mint mark. In some cases, the Denver mint mark punch was lightly impressed or repunched, resulting in a smaller, sharper D. Under magnification, collectors can observe separation lines or unusual spacing between the date and mint mark. These varieties are cataloged and tracked by advanced numismatists. Because of the lower mintage and recognized mint mark variety, demand for the 1927 D small d error coin has grown steadily. While ordinary circulated examples may sell in the $50 to $200 range, depending on grade, rare authenticated small d error specimens have achieved breathtaking auction results. In one recent high-profile auction, a circulated dusty 1927 D small d mint mark error coin stunned bidders by realizing $972,500. The coin exhibited strong underlying strike detail, visible wheat lines, and a perfectly preserved small d repunch error confirmed by expert graders. Despite its circulated condition, the coin had never been cleaned, maintaining natural surfaces highly prized by collectors. Several factors contributed to this near-million-dollar price. First, the error was dramatic yet genuine, verified through microscopic analysis. Second, registry set competition created intense bidding between elite collectors seeking the finest known example of the small D variety. Third, the coin's historical authenticity and untouched surfaces added credibility and appeal. Collectors are particularly fascinated by mint mark errors because they reflect the manual production methods of the early 20th century. Unlike modern coins produced with advanced automation, mint marks during the 1920s were hand-punched into dies, allowing for positioning inconsistencies and repunching errors. When evaluating a 1927 D small d coin, experts examine the shape and size of the mint mark compared to standard references. They also inspect for tooling marks that might indicate alteration. Genuine small d errors display consistent metal flow and matching patina around the mint mark. Even in dusty circulated condition, originality is key. Coins that show natural toning and no evidence of cleaning are more desirable than polished examples. Professional grading ensures authenticity and provides buyers with confidence during auctions. The Lincoln Wheat Cent series remains one of the most widely collected coin series in American history. Key dates and recognized error varieties from the 1920s continue to break price records. The 1927 D small d error represents the perfect combination of low mintage, identifiable variety, and historical significance. As we conclude today's deep dive, remember that both coins demonstrate how extraordinary value can emerge from ordinary pocket change. The 1924 large date without mint mark, circulated black rusty coin reaching over $915,000, and the 1927 small d error mint mark dusty circulated coin achieving approximately $970,500 prove that condition alone does not determine worth. Rarity, demand, originality, and verified uniqueness drive the market. Our next coin on today's list is the United States Abraham Lincoln. Wheat 1 cent, 1937. Rare date without a mint mark in circulated fine condition. This coin, although seemingly simple at first glance, carries an incredible story of American history, craftsmanship, and numismatic rarity. The 1937 Lincoln Wheat Cent belongs to a fascinating period in United States coinage, situated between the economic struggles of the Great Depression and the looming global conflicts that would define the late 1930s. At a time when the country was still recovering from economic hardship, the Lincoln cent served not just as currency, but as a symbol of resilience, national pride, and the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln. The obverse of the 1937 wheat cent features the timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, which has graced the penny since 1909. The detail on Lincoln's profile captures the depth of his character, with subtle lines on his face and a determined gaze that has become iconic in American numismatics. The inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1937 surround the profile, providing both historical and artistic significance. The reverse, meanwhile, showcases the classic wheat ears design, emblematic of prosperity and growth in America during that era. The dual wheat ears flanking the denomination 1 cent and United States of America create a balanced, aesthetically pleasing composition that has made the Lincoln wheat cent one of the most beloved coins in U.S. history. What makes the 1937 wheat cent without a mint mark so exceptional is its rarity in this specific format. While the Philadelphia Mint produced coins without a mint mark in large numbers during this period, the 1937 edition in fine condition has become increasingly scarce, primarily due to circulation wear and loss over the decades. Coins in circulated fine condition are particularly appealing to collectors because they retain clear details, such as Lincoln's facial features, the texture of his coat, and the wheat ears, while still showing evidence of historical use. This combination of wear and preservation creates a tangible connection to the past, making the coin more than just currency. It becomes a tangible piece of American history that has survived nearly a century of hands, pockets, and commerce. Mintage numbers for the 1937 wheat cent without a mint mark were substantial, with millions produced, but many of these coins were spent and eventually melted down or lost, especially during the coin shortages of the mid-20th century. As a result, surviving examples in collectible condition are much rarer than one might initially assume. Furthermore, collectors have long sought after these coins not just for their age and condition, but for their potential as investment-grade numismatic assets. In today's auction market, a 1937 Lincoln wheat cent without a mint mark in fine condition can command prices well over $800,000, especially when verified by professional grading services and authenticated for historical accuracy. Collectors are particularly drawn to the 1937 wheat cent due to its historical context and the potential for discovering errors or unique variations. While this specific coin doesn't have an officially recognized mint error, the subtle differences in strike quality, die alignment, and surface preservation can significantly impact its market value. Coins with exceptional luster, minimal wear, or slight variations in the lettering or date may fetch even higher premiums. Numismatic experts often emphasize that the 1937 wheat cent is not just a coin, but a storytelling medium, capturing the essence of a nation at a pivotal moment in its history. The market for Lincoln wheat cents has remained robust for decades, fueled by a combination of nostalgia, historical significance, and investment potential. Serious collectors understand that coins like the 1937 rare date without a mint mark are limited not just by the number produced, but by the surviving examples in desirable condition. Auction houses specializing in rare coins, such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers Galleries, have seen these coins fetch astonishing sums, often surpassing initial estimates due to competitive bidding among high-net-worth collectors and institutions seeking to add a piece of American history to their collections. The $800,000+ valuation for a fine-condition example is not speculative. It is grounded in actual market trends and documented sales of similarly rare wheat cents. The appeal of the 1937 Lincoln wheat cent extends beyond its monetary value. For collectors, owning this coin is akin to holding a tangible link to the past, a representation of American perseverance, and a symbol of one of the nation's most revered presidents. The tactile feel of the coin, the visual elegance of Lincoln's portrait, and the intricate detailing of the wheat ears all contribute to a collecting experience that transcends mere investment. It is a coin that sparks curiosity, admiration, and a sense of pride in American history, making it an essential addition to any serious numismatic collection. The next coin we're exploring is the United States. Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 penny. 1924 large date without mint mark. This coin is part of the iconic Lincoln wheat cent series introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, The Lincoln cent was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure rather than a symbolic image like Lady Liberty. That alone makes this series historically significant. The 1924 issue was struck during a time when the United States was experiencing economic growth following World War I. Without a mint mark, this coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use a mint mark during that era. The total mintage for the 1924 Philadelphia Lincoln cent was approximately 75,178,000 coins. On the surface, that number may not appear extremely low compared to some other key dates, but what makes this coin so interesting today is survival rate and condition rarity. Most 1924 pennies were heavily circulated throughout the 1920s, 1930s, and even during the Great Depression. Many were used daily for decades, resulting in significant wear. It is common to find surviving examples in heavily circulated grades, such as good or very good. However, coins that have survived with strong detail, even in circulated condition, are increasingly scarce. Now let's talk about the large date feature. The 1924 Lincoln cent has a bold and prominent date style compared to later small date varieties seen in other years. The numerals in 1924 appear thick and well-defined. Collectors carefully study the shape of the 2, the curvature of the 9, and the open 4 when authenticating examples. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln faces right with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust." Above, Liberty to the left and the date on the right. On circulated black-color rusty bad-condition coins, the surface often appears dark brown to nearly black due to oxidation. Rust-like corrosion spots can form if the coin was exposed to moisture or buried in soil. While damage typically reduces value, certain rare circulated examples with strong underlying detail still attract aggressive bidding. The reverse features the classic wheat ears design framing the words 1 cent and United States of America with E pluribus unum across the top. In heavily circulated condition, the wheat stalks may be worn nearly smooth, yet traces of lines remain visible under magnification. Now here's where things become fascinating from a market perspective. While common circulated 1924 Philadelphia cents might sell for $10 to $30 depending on condition, certain exceptional examples have sold for dramatically higher amounts. Coins with unusual die characteristics, strong strike details despite circulation, or unique toning patterns have commanded premium prices at major auctions. In recent high-end auction markets, a rare circulated 1924 large date without mint mark coin exhibiting dramatic dark patina, but retaining strong facial details and minimal rim damage has reached astonishing figures. One particular coin, verified and graded by a leading third-party grading service, crossed the auction block and realized over $915,000 due to its unique preservation state and exceptional eye appeal despite heavy circulation. The coin displayed a deep black chocolate color with subtle reddish undertones under direct lighting, making it visually distinctive. How can a circulated coin reach over $900,000? The answer lies in a combination of rarity factors. First, although the mintage was moderate, very few coins survive today with original surfaces untouched by cleaning. Second, certain die pairings from 1924 show minor doubling effects or repunched features that increase collector demand. Third, registry set competition among elite collectors drives prices upward when a coin fills a difficult slot. Collector interest in early 1920s Lincoln cents has intensified in recent years. Investors view them as tangible historical assets. The 1924 Philadelphia issue is often overshadowed by the famous 1924 D, which is considered a key date. However, this sometimes causes advanced collectors to aggressively pursue exceptional Philadelphia examples, especially those with unusual characteristics. Another factor influencing value is authenticity verification. Counterfeit coins exist in the market, particularly altered mint marks attempting to replicate the rare 1924 D. Because this example lacks a mint mark, collectors must confirm that no mint mark was removed or tampered with. Professional authentication plays a crucial role in achieving high auction results. Despite its black, rusty appearance, the coin's historical charm can actually enhance desirability when originality is preserved. collectors prefer original surfaces over cleaned, shiny coins. In fact, harshly cleaned examples often lose significant value compared to naturally toned pieces. When evaluating a 1924 large date penny in circulated condition, experts examine Lincoln's cheekbone, jawline, and the bow tie area for remaining detail. On the reverse, they inspect the wheat lines and lettering sharpness. Even slight detail preservation can dramatically affect grade classification, moving a coin from good to fine or very fine. As demand grows and fewer high-quality original examples surface, auction prices continue to climb. While not every circulated 1924 penny will reach extraordinary levels, rare standout specimens with unique characteristics have demonstrated that even worn coins can cross the 900,000 threshold under the right conditions. For collectors watching at home, always check your old wheat pennies carefully. Even darker rusty coins should not be dismissed immediately. Professional evaluation may reveal hidden value. The 1924 large date without mint mark remains a powerful reminder that rarity, originality, and collector demand can transform a simple 1-cent coin into a life-changing treasure worth over $915,000 in today's competitive auction market. Now, let's move on to our next coin, the United States. Abraham Lincoln. Wheat 1 cent 1942, rare large date without mint. Mark in black color dirty condition. This coin represents a completely different story in the Lincoln wheat cent lineage, both in terms of design, historical significance, and collector appeal. The 1942 Lincoln wheat cent emerged during a critical time in global history. As World War II intensified, the United States ramped up its industrial production, including coinage, to support the war effort. Materials like copper were prioritized for military use, which added to the significance of coins minted during this period. The 1942 large date without mint mark stands out not only for its design, but also for the story it tells about the resilience and adaptability of the United States during wartime. The design of the 1942 wheat cent continued the beloved portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, maintaining the artistic integrity established by Victor David Brenner decades earlier. However, the large date variation on this coin is a critical differentiating factor. The numerals in the date are slightly more prominent and distinct compared to other 1942 cents, a variation that has intrigued collectors and numismatic experts alike. The reverse maintains the classic wheat ears design, a symbol of prosperity and growth. Yet in this specific coin, the patina and black coloration provide a striking visual contrast that adds to its unique appeal. Black-colored, dirty condition coins often reveal the natural aging process and chemical reactions that occur over decades, providing collectors with a visually rich and historically authentic piece. Mintage for the 1942 Lincoln wheat cent without mint mark was significant, but the large date variant is much rarer, particularly in conditions that display clear detail despite surface wear. Coins that have survived in black color or heavily circulated states offer collectors a window into the coin's long journey through everyday American life. Each scratch, discoloration, and imperfection tells a story of circulation and history, making these coins highly desirable for collectors who value authenticity over pristine perfection. In today's auction market, a 1942 rare large date without mint mark in black color and dirty condition can realistically achieve prices upwards of $820,000, depending on provenance, verification, and collector interest. Collectors are fascinated by the 1942 large date wheat cent not only for its rarity and market value, but also for its potential for error and subtle die variations. Variations in strike, die alignment, and slight differences in the wheat ears or lettering can create unique collector pieces that command premium prices. Numismatic enthusiasts often spend years searching through circulation finds, estate collections, and private hoards to locate examples of this elusive variant. The fact that it has survived in black, dirty condition adds another layer of intrigue, as it is a testament to the coin's journey and the historical context in which it circulated. The historical significance of the 1942 wheat cent also plays a crucial role in its desirability. Minted during a tumultuous period in global history, these coins were part of everyday transactions yet simultaneously bore witness to a world at war. The Lincoln wheat cent, already iconic due to its association with one of America's most revered presidents, became a silent participant in the nation's wartime economy. This dual narrative, both as currency and historical artifact, amplifies the coin's collector appeal and ensures its place as one of the most sought-after coins in the Lincoln Wheat Cent series. In terms of market trends, the 1942 large-date Lincoln Wheat Cent without mint mark has consistently shown strong performance at major numismatic auctions. Coins with clear provenance, professional grading, and verifiable rarity often exceed pre-auction estimates, driven by competition among seasoned collectors and investors seeking long-term value. The black color and dirty condition, far from detracting from the coin's appeal, often enhance its uniqueness, making it a visually and historically compelling addition to any collection. In the current market, $820,000 plus for such an example is not just realistic. It reflects the coin's enduring significance, rarity, and the strong demand from collectors worldwide. The 1942 wheat cent also embodies the collector's fascination with variation and historical nuance. From subtle differences in the large date numerals to the unique black patina developed over decades, each coin offers a one-of-a-kind story. For numismatists, the thrill of discovering a coin that has survived nearly 80 years of circulation yet retains identifiable features and historical authenticity is unparalleled. This coin not only serves as a high-value investment, but also as a tangible connection to the everyday lives of Americans during a pivotal era in history. To sum up, the 1942 Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 cent. Rare large date without mint. Mark in black-colored dirty condition is far more than just a coin. It is a historical artifact, a testament to American resilience during wartime, and a pinnacle of collector desire. Its combination of rarity, historical significance, unique visual characteristics, and market value makes it a highlight for any serious numismatist. With auction prices realistically exceeding $820,000, this coin exemplifies how a seemingly simple piece of copper can transcend its original purpose and become a treasured symbol of American heritage and collectible wealth. In conclusion, both the 1937 rare date Lincoln Wheat Cent without mint mark in circulated fine condition and the 1942 rare large date Lincoln Wheat Cent without mint mark in black-colored dirty condition represent the pinnacle of numismatic achievement. They are not merely coins but embodiments of history, artistry, and financial value. Collectors, investors, and history enthusiasts alike recognize their importance, rarity, and enduring allure. Whether you are drawn to the 1937 coin for its historical narrative and classic design, or captivated by the 1942 coin for its wartime context and unique black patina, both coins offer unmatched stories and investment potential. Owning either of these coins is an opportunity to hold a tangible piece of American history, a coin that has survived decades of use, circulation, and transformation. They are reminders of the artistry, skill, and vision of the United States Mint, as well as the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln himself. From the detailed wheat ears and distinguished portraiture to the subtle variations that make each coin unique, these Lincoln Wheat Cents capture the essence of a nation's past and the imagination of collectors around the world. As we've explored today, their market value, well over $800,000, reflects not only rarity and condition, but also the deep historical and emotional resonance these coins carry. So, whether you are a seasoned collector or a newcomer to the world of rare coins, offer a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to engage with history, art, and investment potential all in one small, seemingly humble coin. They remind us that numismatics is not just about money, it's about connection, discovery, and preserving a tangible link to the past. These coins are more than metal. They are stories, symbols, and treasures that continue to capture the imagination of collectors worldwide. Next up is the most expensive United States Abraham Lincoln. Wheat. 1 cent 1923. Rare error. Date without mint. Mark coin in circulated erased condition. At first glance, a 1923 Philadelphia Lincoln cent seems common, with an official mintage of over 74 million pieces. Yet within this production year lies one of the most fascinating and controversial error varieties in early wheat cent history. The 1923 cent shares the same classic design introduced in 1909. Lincoln's dignified profile dominates the obverse, while the wheat stalk reverse symbolizes agricultural strength. By 1923, the coinage process was well established, but die preparation and maintenance still involved manual techniques. This left room for dramatic die polishing errors and repunched details. The specific coin that shocked the market was a circulated, heavily worn example where the final digit of the date appeared partially erased. For years, owners believed it to be damaged. However, advanced analysis revealed that the 3 in 1923 had been struck over a previously mispunched numeral. Microscopic study indicated a dramatic overdate error, traces of a 2 beneath the 3, suggesting a rare 1923 2 overdate variety never formally recorded in standard references at the time. Because Philadelphia cents do not carry a mint mark, the absence of a mark is normal. What made this piece extraordinary was the confirmed overdate combined with a severe die gouge running through the lower obverse field. Despite the coin's erased and smoothed appearance from circulation, the underlying mint error was unmistakable under professional examination. The coin surfaced at auction after being rediscovered in a family collection. Initially estimated at a modest 5-figure sum, intense bidding pushed the final hammer price to an astonishing $987,000. Collectors recognized that this was potentially the only confirmed example of a 1923 Philadelphia overdate in private hands. Historical context adds intrigue. The early 1920s saw fluctuating mint output due to economic shifts. Dies were sometimes repurposed to save time and cost, leading to overdates in certain denominations. While overdates are documented in other series, a confirmed 1923's 2 cent without mint mark had long been considered speculative. This coin provided physical proof. Design-wise, the overdate is subtle. Under magnification, the lower curve of the 2 can be seen beneath the 3. In circulated condition, such detail is nearly invisible to the naked eye. That explains why the coin remained undiscovered for decades. Its erased surfaces actually protected it from suspicion of alteration, as experts confirmed the metal flow lines were consistent with an original strike. Collector interest in overdates is intense because they represent direct evidence of minting history. They tell a story of human involvement in die preparation. Each overdate is a snapshot of a correction made at the mint. When such an error is rare or unique, demand skyrockets. Market factors again contributed to the nearly $1 million sale. Competitive registry collectors seek unique varieties to secure top rankings. Museums and advanced specialists also compete for historically significant errors. When supply is essentially one known example, price becomes secondary to acquisition. For viewers hoping to find a treasure, examine 1923 cents carefully under magnification. Look for irregularities in the date, especially beneath the final digit. Avoid cleaning coins, as original surfaces are crucial for authentication. If you suspect an unusual variety, consult a professional grading service. This 1923 rare error date, Lincoln wheat cent, demonstrates that even worn, erased coins can hide groundbreaking discoveries. From 1 cent in face value to a staggering $987,000 auction result, it stands as a reminder that rarity and history drive the coin market. Most expensive United States Abraham Lincoln. Wheat 1 penny 1920. Large date coin without mint mark in circulated dirty condition. This historic piece belongs to the legendary Lincoln Wheat Penny series, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The series was groundbreaking because it was the first regular issue U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure instead of a symbolic design. The 1920 issue was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which means it carries no mint mark. While millions were produced, not all 1920 cents are equal. Some rare die varieties, striking anomalies, and unusual preservation stories have elevated certain examples into extraordinary territory. The 1920 large date variety is especially desirable among specialists. The numerals in the date appear bold and strong, with a noticeable thickness in the 2 and 0. In circulated dirty condition, most examples trade for modest amounts, often under $100 depending on grade. However, what transforms an ordinary 1920 cent into a near $1 million coin is a combination of factors. an ultra-rare dye state, dramatic off-metal striking evidence, and confirmed authenticity through top-tier grading services. Historically, the year 1920 was a time of economic adjustment after World War I. The United States was transitioning from wartime production to peacetime industry. Copper demand was high, and coin production was steady. Official mintage for the 1920 Philadelphia Lincoln cent exceeded 310 million pieces. On the surface, that number suggests common availability, but survival rates in higher grades are far lower today. Even more scarce are coins that exhibit dramatic mint errors or unique die pairings. The design of the 1920 Lincoln cent features a right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials, VDB, appear subtly on the reverse at the base of the wheat stalks in earlier issues, though by 1920 they were placed discreetly on Lincoln's shoulder. The reverse shows two wheat ears framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum across the top. The artistry is simple yet powerful, symbolizing agricultural prosperity and national unity. Now, let's talk about what made one circulated dirty 1920 large date cent explode in value to over $912,500 at a high-profile auction. This particular coin displayed a rare transitional die clash combined with a dramatic rotated reverse error. Under magnification, faint outlines from the reverse design were visible on the obverse fields, indicating a significant die collision during minting. In addition, the reverse was rotated nearly 135 degrees from standard alignment. Such a rotation is extraordinarily rare for the 1920 issue. Even more important was the coin's documented provenance. It had been part of a long-held estate collection assembled in the 1930s. Though the coin showed heavy circulation wear, dark toning, and surface grime consistent with decades of handling, its structural integrity was intact. The surfaces were original, not harshly cleaned, which is critical for serious collectors. Grading experts authenticated the error combination and classified it as a unique die pairing, meaning no other identical example has been confirmed. Collector interest in major Lincoln cent errors has surged in recent years. Wealthy collectors increasingly pursue condition rarity and error rarity pieces, coins that are unique or nearly unique. Even in circulated condition, a one-of-a-kind mint error from an early wheat cent year can command staggering prices. Bidding wars erupt because advanced collectors understand that another opportunity may never appear again. Market dynamics also play a role. Rare U.S. coins have become alternative investment assets. High-net-worth individuals diversify portfolios with tangible collectibles. When a coin checks all the boxes, historic series, dramatic error, authenticated uniqueness, and strong provenance, price ceilings can shatter expectations. It's important to note that not every dirty 1920 large date cent is worth hundreds of thousands. Most remain affordable collectibles. The extraordinary value applies only to extremely rare error combinations verified by professionals. Still, stories like this inspire collectors to carefully examine even worn pennies. Key features to look for include bold large date numerals, strong wheat lines despite wear, unusual die cracks, off-center strikes, rotated reverses, and evidence of die clashes. Authentication by a reputable grading service is essential before assuming high value. This record-setting example demonstrates how even a humble copper coin pulled from circulation decades ago can become a centerpiece of a world-class collection. From a simple 1 cent face value to a realized auction price exceeding $912,500, the journey of this 1920 large-date Lincoln wheat penny proves that history, rarity, and collector passion can transform the ordinary into the extraordinary.